energy on this decision. You got to have emotional control, because guess what happens when you lash out, young man? Guess what happens when you rock out on buddy? Bing, bow, boom, boom, boom. And he called them people on you for assault. Or guess what happens when you really take it there and you pull it out and you bah, 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 bah. Now, what's the deal? Welcome to another episode of Don't Fold Podcast. I'm on a solo mission today. Let me make sure my mic is cool so y'all can hear me. I'm on a solo mission today, and I actually went on my Instagram and I wanted you guys to give me some topics of some controversial things to talk about. So, hold on, let me make sure I'm doing it right now. So one of the first things that caught my mind was the importance of a black father. Now, before we get into these topics, I want to tell you guys, I appreciate it. First video with Morgan did really, really well, and I can't be more appreciative of the support you guys gave. Everybody that shared the video, everybody that commented, everybody that, subscribed to the channel, liked the video, the whole shebang. Definitely on a journey for 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube side, actually on all social media platforms. So if you guys could, please share it if you see it. Hold your boy down. Like, if you get value, share it. That's all I want. That's all I want you to do is share the damn video. It don't cost you no money, huh? It don't cost you just a little button. I share videos all the time. I share them all the time. So do that. Some of you guys also, hold on, let me say, there was one more, actually, before I go into that, because there was a couple topics that was really fire. This one was a background of my story. So, let me preference this with, I'm adopted, right? I'm going to start there. Let's just jump right into it. So I was adopted. Found out I was adopted when I was probably 9, 10 years old. Didn't really mean nothing to me at the time. Just kept pushing. Cool. My mom is my mama. I love my mama. I got Mitchell tatted on my back because I'm a Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Donna Mitchell, shout out to you. You beautiful woman, you. And John Mitchell, that's my dad. He was definitely in the picture. We'll unpack that too. But yeah, so anyway, I was adopted. Bingo bango, and started having kids, right? So my son played basketball, and I'm just fast forwarding to the adoption of why I found my biological mom. Fast forward, found out that found my biological mom, found out I had siblings, found out my biological dad had some medical complications, so he don't want nothing to do with me. Don't know if he would want something to do with me if he didn't have the medical complications, but it is what it is. So yeah, got siblings on his side and siblings on my my biological mom's side. So siblings, that I didn't know about that I found, and we are in a group chat. We all love each other. We all dope. Everything's cool. So my upbringing though, so boom, from Colorado Springs, from the South Side. I don't want to call it like a typical black, young man growing up in the hood is pretty much what it was. A lot of fights. We got introduced to gangbanging around 7th grade. People started getting quoted on, started getting put on. Next thing you know, you find yourself associated with that stuff. You find yourself catching fades, start sleeping with girls real early. And you realize that the people that you look into in that life, the older kids, which in your mind at the time, they the quote unquote big homies, but they really 3-4 years older than you. They telling you that your manhood is dictated off of how many people you can knock out, how many women you can sleep with, how many, the clothes you wear dictate who you are as a man, and how much money in your pocket, even though at that age, only thing you should be worried about is your homework. But however, we fell into that trap, and it's a cycle, and I know it doesn't just go on in my city. It goes on in every big metropolitan city in America. So in that life comes the drama. Comes the drama with that life. Comes people not liking you. People want to fight. People want to test you. You walk around with your chest out saying you got all the hands. Somebody else does the same thing, and they want to test your chin. So you got to fight. You got to fight. And just been in a lot of that. Fights turned into shootings, which turned into friends dying, which turns into more friends dying, which turns into retaliation to where now your friends aren't necessarily dying, but they the ones pulling the trigger, and now they doing the time behind that. And There's trauma that's attached to all of this, and this is my upbringing. Next thing I know, I'm a senior, and I have womanized my way all the way to my senior year in high school. I've slept with a ton of women, and I've fought, and I've thought I was a rapper, and I was doing all these things that I thought were beneficial, that made me a man. To my knowledge, all that was wrong. And my senior year, I barely graduated, but I did. And I got a year later, I got my girlfriend pregnant. So that accelerated my reality, which is what I needed, because I was living in a false reality of, what I thought I was, or who I thought I was. It was this facade behind, like, oh, I can fight, or I'm popular, or I'm, whatever. Like, I'm thinking that these are the things that, whatever, man. It's so retarded. But anyway, so now here's my reality. Now you got to be a dad. You got to be the caretaker, of another human. And this human doesn't care if you're equipped or not. So all my kids that are listening to this, if you find yourself having sex unprotected, just make sure you're ready to be a provider for a child that does not care if you're equipped to be their parent or not. Be ready, because that child does not care if you have class in the morning. That child does not care if you have a good job. That child does not care if you are mentally stable. That child does not care about the trauma that you haven't unpacked yourself. That child does not care about none of that. It's coming. So mine did. His name was Zion Nathaniel Mitchell. It's my firstborn. And in that year, this was 2012. I graduated in 2011. 2012, shout out to my dog Twizzo. And shout out to my dog Corey Yard, because, and there's more people in that. I'm not going to go down the shout out hole, but them two specifically. Corey Yard would check on me to make sure my mind was right. And Twizzo was one of the ones that helped me put my plan in motion to move forward. Now, Twizzo was on the side of thugging with me. Twizzo seen me in a light where we was outside thugging. We was in the hood. We fighting. We trying to move stuff. We trying to be Mr. Get Bad. We trying to be the most gangster people in the world. Like, my dog's a little older than we are. So, but he was not one of those people that was leading me down the path of, demise. He wasn't leading me down this path of, like, you need to do this and you need to. Not one time has he called me a little homie. Not one time has he called me a little nigga. Like, not one time has he done any of this. He was just an older homie that was like, bro, I had a baby young. This is what you need to do. Me and my dog really came up with a solid plan for me to join the Army, and that's why I did. Corey, I decided that I needed to walk with Jesus in 2011. Because I was like, the path that I'm going down is going to lead me to hell. So Corey helped me dissect that in a spiritual sense. And I was realizing how terrible of a human I was. Now, granted, as I got older, that list got longer. And I realized that there was some deep, deep rooted stuff that I have not dealt with, even from a 6-year-old little boy. I haven't dealt with these things. But Corey was helping me lead and learn and grow and chase God in a way that I've never seen before. So shout out to you for that, bro. I really value that, because a lot of lessons that I learned with you from 2011 to 2012 are hold with me now in 2024. So thank you for that. Twizzo, thank you for helping me jump off the cliff, because I was not ready. I was scared. I was terrified. So them two had a really big impact on my trajectory moving forward. So boom, I joined the military. I get to the military. I'm still a young man. And I'm realizing that a lot of people in the Army want to be gangster. But my job, I was a chaplain assistant in the military. So this is how this is so crazy. I wanted to have like an airborne contract. I was ready to go 11 Bravo, which is infantry. I actually wanted to go into the Air Force initially, but I had too many tattoos. So the recruiter was like, absolutely not. We not finna take you. Go ahead and go over there. And he pointed to the Marines and the Army. So I walked in the Army and I said, yo, the Air Force. And he said, my man, come on, sit down. So I was probably the easiest recruit in Army history. But I was looking, and at the time I had I probably smacked all in his mic, my bad. And I apologize for these I'm trying to think. I had a mentor His name was Sergeant Major Stanfield. I called him Mr. Stan, but he come to find out he was a sergeant major in the Army. Mr. Stan walked in that recruiting office with me one time, and he told me, don't pick a job without me. He walked in, put the whole room at ease. And at ease is when you stand up because a higher ranking person has walked in. So he calmed, sat the room, told the room to relax. And he was like, tell me the jobs. And, chaplain assistant came up. Mr. Stan is a God-fearing man. It's a solid man, solid man. And he said, Jay, that's the one. Boom. So Mr. Stan said it. I said, cool. At the time, I was running from God. I ain't want nothing to do with God. So I didn't join, the Army trying to be like, oh, let me chase God and get the soldier saved. That was not my prerogative. I was like, I'm trying to run away from God. I don't want nothing to do with God. I'm going to join the Army. I'm going to max out. I'm going to get this paper. I'm going to buy a Camaro, and I'm going to be decent. That wasn't my doubt, even though I did buy a Charger anyway. But I bought a Charger before this was a joke on the internet, so y'all can fight me on that straight up. So anyway, boom. Joined the Army, and I get stationed in El Paso, Texas. And I just started realizing how much I didn't know about being a functioning human. That was the first time I really started paying bills. First time I really started understanding credit. I didn't really know a direction. I didn't know entrepreneurship was a thing. I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know anything about anything. I was a young man. I was a little boy that was in his 20s, to be honest. I was a 14, 15-year-old boy in his 20s and having to figure this out with now a wife and a child and a bonus child from my wife. So there was a lot of mistakes that I made. And I deployed in 2015, and I read a book from Dr. Eric Thomas called Greatness is Upon You. Now, in this book, it enlightened me in a way that I've never been enlightened before. It made me realize, like, maybe there's something to me that's a little bit deeper that I don't understand. Because, mind you, I've been chasing Jesus. I've been trying to figure out Jesus. I've been, understanding, like, okay, my soul has to be attached to you, and you'll give me eternal life, and I won't go to hell, but I have to give up these things. But then one side of people is telling me, like, yeah, you got to give it up like this. And another side of people is like, nah, you got to let the Holy Spirit do it. Because I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop cussing. I'm going to stop watching R-rated movies. I'm going to stop listening to secular music. I'm going to stop doing all this stuff. But then all that stuff will come back because I still wanted to do that. I didn't want to let none of that go. And then I'm hearing another group of people that's like, well, how real is God to you? How real is God to you to deliver you from the things that he wants you to not be a part of? You got to believe that he'll deliver you. It's not on your own will. That's a different topic for a different day, though. So put a bookmark right there. So boom. I read Greatness is Upon You. And I'm like, there's something more to life. Like there's an untapped potential to myself that I'm not unlocking. I need to figure out what this is. So I do. I come back from deployment. We was in Djibouti, Africa, Operation Enduring Freedom. Come back. And I'm telling my wife, like, yo, we not called to be average. And she like, what? What are you talking about? Like, and I'm like, nah, this is all average. Like, everybody when everybody read their first entrepreneurship book, they automatically Jeff Bezos. Like, we ain't supposed to be average. Everybody average. I'm not a 9-to-5 worker. Woo, right? I'm on that. She like, what's wrong with being average? Some people can be average. They not wrong if they want to be woo. Arguing. Just a little riff in my marriage. So we almost get a divorce off that. Because I'm like, I'm not going to be married to you. You weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the time I was on. So I wound up getting out the Army. We moved to Phoenix, Arizona. Being here to this day. I get to Phoenix, and one of my best friends, Don Silver, DeLon Shields, my dog, bro. That's been my dog since 7th grade. He like, bro, you got to do one more album. Because mind you, when I was growing up, we was rapping. I was in a group called Block Stars, just a young teenage group. We thought we was finna take over the city, and it wasn't none of that. We just made music that is silly. It's silly. I think it might still be on the internet floating if y'all get bored. But he like, you got to give me one more album. Now, during this time frame, there's chunks of this story that I'm leaving out intentionally. The first friend I ever had when I moved to Colorado was this guy named Kenny Hatcher. This was my brother. Like, when I tell you, like, I I would stay at his house for weekends on end. He would stay at my house for weekends on end. His mom is my mom. My mom is his mom. His dad is my dad. My dad is his dad. Like, his cousins are my cousins. Like, we were inseparable for a long time. My brother also went down this path of gangbanging as well, which unfortunately in 2017 will be the cause of him losing his life. We reconnected in 2015 when I was deployed because he made some decisions that led him to go sit down for a little bit. But when he got out, we reconvened. 2015, FaceTiming, chopping every day. That was my dog. We back at it. That's my brother. How you like all that. So in 2017, we trying to figure out like, yeah, we got to get you to Arizona, bro. We got to get you to Arizona. And I wake up one morning and I see a message on my Facebook it was not a message, it was a post that his dad made that said, please pray for my family. You know, my son was murdered last night. And I'm like, he only got one son, bro. Like, then my homie called me, like, hey, like, he in tears on the phone. I'm like, I ain't no way. I go downstairs to tell my wife and I collapse because I'm like, they didn't kill my brother, bro. They didn't kill my brother. So I started going back to that life. I'm on the phone with people that I know for a fact were there. I'm on the phone with people that I know for a fact, if I put that word on, some people may not make it out that day. And I realized like that you're in a different spot now, Jay. Like you're in a different spot, bro. Like you have a lot to lose, and would June want you to move like this? Which is a hard conversation to have because the conversations me and my brother had prior to him having his life taken from him, it was how proud he was of me and how, you know, I had become or was becoming, you know, that the person to kind of change what we knew growing up. So it was really hard time. 2017 was really hard. But my boy Lon told me like, yo, like you got to make another album. You got to make music. So I did, and I put all that pain from June into my music. So I came up with a EP called Still in the Process of Making Mistakes. The acronym is SITPOM. And from there, I dropped my first album ever solo called Rainier Drive, and that's the street I grew up on in Colorado Springs. After I dropped that album, it did really well. It did way better than I anticipated. We had like 1,000 streams in 24 hours, and that's with no marketing. That's with no machine behind me. That's with no, and I know some of y'all that really have like hundreds of thousands and millions of streams. You have to understand, like I had no, there was no big platform. I had no big boost behind me. I had no cosign. I had no friends that knew famous people. I had none of that. It was just me and my homies. And when it's released, it was the buzz behind it that was so crazy that people were sharing it and rotating it that it did that on its own. So I wind up getting with a marketing agency or, you know, whole situation in that. We had some falling out. Next thing I know, COVID hits and I have no money in my bank account. And I have 2 kids. How did I skip a really important part? She killed me because I'm just trying to think about my story and I'm forgetting about everybody else. That's so selfish. I had a daughter in 2017. And I know what y'all thinking before y'all judge me, like, how you forget the birth of your daughter? I automatically include her in my head. She's like automatically there. Like I can't think back to a time she hasn't been there. So I'm thinking in my head that she's been here this whole time, but she hasn't. So yeah, 2016, excuse me. I come home from deployment. I have a deployment baby. Trinity Grace is born in 2016. So fast forward to everything I just told you to right now. So boom. So now, yeah, so COVID hits and I got 2 babies, and then the oldest, Elijah's there. So it's 3 kids in total, a wife, and we didn't have a dog yet. See. So before y'all judge me, I was gonna say Gotti was there, and Gotti wasn't even there. That's my dog. I'm just used to them being here. I'll forget that I did. Everybody came at different times. So anyway, I think Gotti might have been here. I digress. My bad. Anyway, so I started taking jobs, and I'm like, I'm gonna put this rap stuff down because during my journey in music, I was meeting people that were in the industry that were giving me really big red caution signs. Like, hey, bro, this ain't what you want. Hey, bro, this ain't what you want. And my brain transitioned from I need to do, music and because mind you, let's go back to Greatness is Upon You. I read this book and it made me want to be entrepreneurial. So in the music side, I took it very different. I took the music side of it like an entrepreneur aspect opposed to a trying to make music aspect. But one thing that stayed certain through this whole thing was real estate. I'm going to get there though. Shoo. Boom. That was me fast forwarding it, by the way. So here we are, 2020. No money, COVID going crazy. And I just started putting in job applications. I wound up getting a really good job. And I had been dabbling in real estate, but I finally jumped. So I start with Airbnb, I get an Airbnb downtown Phoenix. Furnish that thing by myself. I'm there from, I don't know, I get off work at 4 and I leave that Airbnb 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning some nights, just to make sure it was perfect set up. I spent $10,000 furnishing that thing, 2 carts at IKEA later, me and Morgan down there at IKEA trying to pick out all the designs and make sure that thing ready to go. So I do that, and then I'm at work one time and I see this video, gentleman that's talking about developing, and I had scaled the Airbnb, co-hosted some Airbnbs. It was probably over 1.8 million in assets, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go to development. So I jumped to development, and Tatted Investor was born. Realized I wanted to do real estate, and blah 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 blah. So that's a spotty, long, semi version of who I am, and how we are here. And I realized, like, through all this, like, you know, the journey is so crazy because there's been so many times in this that I wanted to quit, and so many times I wanted to give up, and I would tell myself, don't fold, bro, don't fold. And it just became a way that I was breeding, like, myself, and I didn't even know it internally. Like, God was, like, putting it on my heart to, like, no, this is who you're going to become. This is who you're going to become. So then now, here we are, podcast later, 2024, Whitman is being built. That's a development I have going up here in Whitman, Arizona. Houses that are being built in Arizona City. I'm a realtor in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you want to buy or sell a house, let your boy know. And I'm just not the same person. Even telling that story, I'm laughing through the story because I'm thinking back to man, how much my brain has changed, how much I am different. So, yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to say that because, again, somebody asked that question. So that was a pretty long version of who I am, but I tried to cover as many details as I could. But back to this. So the first question through is, now that we got who I am out the way. So if you ever want to know, just watch this video. The importance of black fathers in the home. Listen to this. In the black community, we have no leaders. We have nobody to look to because everybody is crabs in a bucket mentality. That's just the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is you can say that you praise your brother, but at the end of the day, if you see somebody doing better than you, you are envious in your heart, whether you say it or not. That's why we got to put the rims on stuff. That's why we got to have the big chains, because we have to have the symbol that we are better. And I'm talking to black men right now. We have to have the symbol that we are better. That's why it can't be, oh yeah, he got hands. Oh, do he? He got hands too. He can't whoop me. How many times you done heard that? I ain't losing no fight. And then we full of pride and ego, and can't take constructive criticism, because now constructive criticism hits that ego, and when the ego is hit, it's the whole thing. This is why this bleeds into the children. If you have a dad that understands how this works in a black home, especially for the young black boys, seeing a strong black man in a house, seeing a strong black man love on his wife. Now, I know some of these houses are co-parented households. I know sometimes situations don't work out. It is what it is. But I'm speaking to the parents right now. Your young black son seeing his 2 strong parents and his black dad be a role model, the way he loves on his wife, the way that he cares about his appearance, the way he cares about his body, the food he puts in it, the way that he talks, all of that matters, because now I have something, I have a pinpoint that I can, okay, this is how my daddy do it. So I know this is the way to do it, because I can recollect when this happened, my dad acted like this. It was cool. My dad showed emotional control to this. Because how many of us are raised in homes where it's just mom? Because a lot of the times black men don't know how to control their emotions. And the reason why we don't know how to control our emotions is because we raised by our mama. Yep. because we raised by our mama. So guess what happens when you raised by mom? You start taking on mom tendencies. What does that mean, Jay? Shut your bitch ass up. Mama said I ain't no bitch. So what mama said? What mama tell you to do? Lash out. Mama tell you to go up. Because let somebody call your mama that. Mama gonna lash out. Mama gonna get there with him. But you don't see the side where your dad would be like, man, we ain't got time to work. We ain't got time to waste our mind and our energy on this decision. You got to have emotional control. Because guess what happens when you lash out, young man? Guess what happens when you rock out on buddy? Bing, bow, boom, boom, boom. And he calling people on you for assault. Or guess what happens when you really take it there and you pull it out and you bah, 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 bah. Now guess what happens? When them boys come, yeah, they don't care who raised you. They don't care what statistic you are. They don't care about Black Lives Matter. They don't care about none of that because now you are a criminal. And you finna go where the criminals go. I don't care how much you cry. I don't care how much your mama cried. I don't care about none of that, bro. Go sit down. I got a homie that did 10 years in the pen. He said he seen somebody get locked up one time. The judge gave him like 20 years. He said, Judge, I can't do 20 years. He said, the judge straight up said, how about this? You do what you can and we'll do the rest. The state will do the rest. That says, I don't care, bro. You do the time. You know what's going on? You know what's going on? But that's what happens. That's what happens, bro. So now you because of the lack of this, and a lot of the homies that was raised in the 90s, we came up in that mass incarceration era. Because the 80s, the 70s and the 80s, the 70s they doing the cocaine, and in the 80s they dealing the cocaine, and then the 90s they locking y'all up for the cocaine they put in the hood anyway. So what does that leave the babies born in the 90s? Now we growing up with no fathers. And all we had is each other. All we had is each other. I done been to the homie house. We in high school. We walk in. My homie ain't got no dad. We walk in. Little brother starving. Everybody in there starving. We take our little cartoon backpacks. We go hit the Family Dollar and we running it. We finna have food in a second, bro. We be right back. We got the big bags of chips. We got the Topanga drink, or is that what they call? Tropicana, whatever they call drinks. We got them. We got the TGIF hot pot, baked, what's them joints called? Baked potatoes with the hot wings, we got all that. And we running right about the store. Free, don't get caught. Ain't nobody there to police us. We in there catching phase. Bing, bow, boom, boom. Ain't nobody there to police us. What is y'all doing, bro? All that energy, all this aggression, where are you channeling that? Ain't nobody playing sports, bro. Some of y'all had that, right? This is how powerful a black father is in the house, because I can help you dictate that. My son told me he wanted to play sports. I said, you want to be elite or do you want to play? He said, Dad, I want to be elite. I told my son, it's no longer fun. That doesn't mean you can't have fun when you play the game, but to get to where you got to get to, this is work. And the reason I know, because I done walked here. He has a pinpoint of, Dad, how can I become great? I may not have played at a high level. I got homies that have, but one thing I do know is I think at a high level. And I know all of it is the same. Whether you want to play a music instrument on a high level, whether you want to hoop on a high level, you want to play football, you want to play soccer, you want to play the violin, whatever you want to do on a high level, it starts in your mind. It starts in your mind. Everything, the skill can be trained by anybody. I can watch a YouTube video and make you a dog. It don't matter. You got to hear. Here is where it happens. And if you don't have that as an adolescent, where you're the most, literally that developmental stage as a child is so critical. And if you learn the wrong habits, for lack thereof, you have so much unpacking to do as an adult. Nobody talk about that. So back to your question, bro. The importance of a black father is pivotal. It's pivotal. Hey, y'all. Stop holding that baby away from that man. I understand, like, if y'all didn't work out, that's on y'all. That ain't got nothing to do with that child. That child needs his daddy, man. That child needs his daddy, especially if his dad ain't no weirdo out here trying to lead him down the path of destruction. If his daddy know what he need to do, let that man raise that child. Let that man raise that child. Mothers, you have a place. And in that place, your son, that we understand how pivotal of a role a mother is. But we not finna neglect the dad's role, because the father role is a dog. There are certain situations I don't want to talk to mom about. I'm calling my dad, bro. There are certain situations I don't even want to bring up to mom. I want to talk to my dad, bro. And if we taking that away from the children, that's selfish. One, especially if you hold that child away from his father because of whatever y'all had going on. That baby ain't had nothing to do with y'all. That's not that baby's fault. But there's lessons that child is going to miss out on. And in the black community, it's so pivotal because we don't have a lot of it, bro. We don't have a lot of it, bro. There is not a lot of guidance. The only guidance we see is my daddy and my uncle gangbang, bro. Or my daddy and my uncle play sports, so I got to play sports. Whatever the case. I don't know another way to get it because this is all I've seen growing up. This is all I've seen growing up. It's pivotal. And black men, we got to do a better job too. We got to do a better job in not portraying our trauma on these children too. We got to be honest, man. Help your child think through his aggression. We got to think through our stuff. We got enough. It's okay if you know, granted the child is not in trouble. Like, we don't got to always catch a fade over a disagreement. Because what is that teaching these babies in violence? Now it's different if you got to defend yourself. It is what it is. You got to get going. You got to get it down. But then we lose if every time it's got to be a physical altercation. We lose the lack to communicate. We lose the ability to communicate our emotions. And now we raised damaged men that don't know how to articulate how they feel, because every time they've gotten to a position where they had to articulate how they felt, they could just throw hands and it'd be the end of it. I don't know. I just want to fight. I used to hear that a lot growing up. Now I don't even want to talk, bro. I just want to fight. Well, why can't you talk about how you feel, bro? Because if you never let that out, now you can never fully process that. You can never fully process that. You to be real, you ain't gonna fully heal from it. And you want to walk around with bitterness. And ain't cool, bro. Ain't nobody that damn tough. The toughest nigga watching this video, you not that tough, bro. You gotta unpack that. You gonna die with that chip in your heart? You gonna die with that burden on your heart? That's crazy. That's maddening. You gonna drive yourself insane. You gonna be in a nut house before you know it. That's not gangster to walk around with bitterness because you don't have the intelligence to articulate your emotions. I said it. And also, all you overly ego people too that's in our community, stop that. A camera malfunction. My bad, y'all. But yeah, back on it. All you overly egotistical people in our community, cut it out. Cut it out. You know so much you can't say. You know so much you can't take correction. I'm going to tell you why. Because you ain't self-analyzed, homie. You ain't sat with yourself, bro. Yeah, you haven't taken the time to really sit down and put a mirror up to yourself because you feel like you know it all. And that's why your life looked the way it looked, bro. That's why your life looked the way it looked. Because you so gung-ho on what your way is, just your way or the highway. That's why you about 2 payments away from sleeping on the highway, bro. Because you don't want to listen to nobody. You got it, right? You know it, right? Look at your life, partner. Look at your life, bro. I'm here to tell you the truth because I want to see you grow, homie. I want to see y'all win. And that question really stuck a nerve with me because I love my community, bro. I love being a black man in America, bro. Despite all the people that want to be victims so bad, I love it because I love that I can walk into a room, tattoos and all. Tattoos, earrings, gold chain and all. And what you want to talk about, bro? I don't know what my GPA was. It was 1 point something, bro. When I got my when I got my associate's degree, the first math class I took was calculus, and I passed it with a B. Then I took calculus 2 and passed it with an A. From no math, the power of the mind. But I was also willing to take correction, G. I was also willing, like, I'm not too prideful for somebody to tell me, Jay, you wilding. You right? Let me chill. Because even if you try to tell it to me from a position of leverage, it don't matter. Because if what you saying is true and it's something I need to fix, I hear that. I had a big dog one time tell me you need to eat the meat and spit out the bones. And shout out to my big dog, Act. That was the person that told me that. I missed him out in my story. He had a big part of that on my spiritual side. But I actually want him here so I can tell y'all the story about him. He's also in my story as well. But we got to do better, man. I wanna get off of this black community topic because I want to have some guests on here for that we can really dissect that and really unpack that. Because we just need to figure out how to do better as a community, man. We got to figure out how to really dial in and think. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Charleston White, but y'all got to really listen to what he be saying, bro. Skip all the antics. Skip all the stuff he be saying to piss y'all off because he do it on purpose. But listen to what he's saying. It's real. And if it hit your ears and it piss you off, it's because it's true. The truth hurts, bro. The truth hurts. So let's stop running from the truth and stand in what we need to stand in. But I digress, though. I'm gonna get up off that. Okay. Another question. Let me go here with it. Hold on. Kobe and his mindset. I think Kobe was just ahead, bro. Kobe knew what I think a lot of people are just now coming into as far as how serious a work ethic is. And I think that with I think his mentality kind of changed the way hoopers look at the game. It kind of changes the way of, like, by the time you get one workout in, he already too deep because he woke up at 4, and you woke up at 9 or whatever the case. So I just think that he changed the way that athletes looked at the game, and I don't feel like his impact even just stood in basketball. I think it stood in the football and it bled into other sports as well because of what he was saying, which it wasn't nothing too crazy. All he did was he just did what he said he was going to do. And I think that's hard enough in itself, is to just do what you say you gonna do. If I say I'm gonna wake up at 4 for the next 12 weeks, and you actually wake up at 4 for the next 12 weeks, by the time you get to that third, fourth day, you're gonna be like, all right, now I'm tired of waking up at 4. But he just had that discipline to continue and not negotiate with himself and just do it over and over and over again. So I think that is why he became the person he became and why he was so essential to the game. Not only in just professional sports or just sports in general, but just to the reality of just having the discipline to do what you say you're going to do and do it over and over again, having the consistency to attack it with the same tenacity over and over and over again. It's probable that if you do that, you'll breed what you're looking for. So I think that talks to that. I don't know how long this video is, but I'm going to do one more of these questions. I got a lot of them, so let me make sure I ask the right one. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me now. And look, in anything, if I've talked about anything that you may disagree with or anything that you want to expound on, I would love for y'all to comment your thoughts on this video. This one is definitely a little bit more aggressive. That's why I figured I'd do this one by myself so I can take all the heat. Bring it to me, because this is what we're here for. We're here to bring the conversations. We are here to talk about this, and we're here to heal. We're here to heal, and we're here to do all that. But most importantly, we're here not to quit and run from adversity. So whatever you're dealing with right now, bro, stop running from it. Stand in that. You're supposed to feel that. It's supposed to be hard, G. It's supposed to feel like that. You're supposed to want to quit. It's almost designed for you to quit. But you'd be surprised what happens when you stand on your square. And this is men and women. Stand on it. I said I'm losing 70 pounds. Shout out to my wife. I said I'm going to make this $1 million. I said I'm going to buy this house. I said I'm going to whatever you said. Stand on it. And stop running away because it's hard, bro. Stop running away because you done kind of felt a little bit of pain from it. You done kind of felt a little bit of pressure from it. You can't reap the reward. You can't reap the reward from work that you didn't put in because you ran. My big homie called it. He said, you got out of line, bro. If you at the grocery store and you standing in the line long, and you get out of line, guess where you got to go? To the back, homie. You got to go to the back. Stop getting out of line, bro. Don't fold. Stay there. And believe that all the work, all the hours that you put in was worth something. It's going to be beneficial to you. You got to believe that, because it is. Somebody alive has done what you wanted to do before. Remember that. Somebody alive has done what you wanted to do. Now, if you want to be 7'5" and you 5'5", I ain't got nothing for you. However, somebody 5'5" is hooped in the NBA. Not to say, now, if you 40 and you 5'5" and you got NBA dreams, hey, partner, let's be realistic now. But remember that for real. Somebody alive has done what you wanted to do before. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't fold, bro. All right, let me get this last question. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Do I believe in capitalism is a good one. Do I believe in capitalism? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, and I'm going to tell you why. I realize that when you work hard, the sky's the limit. And from that, I've had a lot of nights that I've spent up trying to figure out different skill sets that could change my family's life. So from that, and this is my own selfish reasoning, so it is what it is, but you asked me the question of how I feel, so I'm going to answer how I feel. So because of that, I think that if you put in the work for something, you should be able to make as much money as you want to make. Straight up. And you shouldn't be able to give it to nobody because that's your work. That's your work. I don't think Jeff Bezos, even though now, morally, I believe that you should have morals to dictate your money accordingly. That's why a faith component is so essential. If you've seen some of my older videos, I'll talk about the 5 pillars of life, about being physically fit, emotionally stable, spiritually sound, financially free, and relationally having strong relationships. So in my mind, yeah, if I make a lot of money, if I had Jeff Bezos' money, I would delegate it appropriately because of my moral belief. However, what makes America so great is somebody don't have to have no moral beliefs, but they could be a genius and make as much money as they want to make. I think when you start telling somebody how they need to spend the money that they earned, is robbing them. Straight up. Straight up. So I believe that capitalism is on point, bro. Why should I have to give you any money that you didn't put in on? If I live in Phoenix and you live in Maine and I make $100 million business, why I got to give you some of my money? I shouldn't have to. Now I know for all you people that's like, yo, this not how it works. Listen, I understand that, but in general, period, if I made the money, it should be where I want to spend it outside of taxes. But again, that's another episode that we can unpack and we can digest that. So, all right, man, I'm going to end this episode. I said a lot of stuff that I know some of y'all agree with and some of y'all probably don't, but let's talk about it. So, appreciate y'all tapping in. Like, share, subscribe. 10,000. Can y'all do that for me? 10,000. That's all I'm asking. 10,000, bro. Can we do that? Just 10,000. Just 10. 10,000 on the TikTok. We almost there. We 4,000 away from the TikTok. My Instagram dead. I don't got no love on my IG, but it's all good. And then YouTube, I only got like 200 subscribers. So we'll start small. Give me 1,000. Now, 10,000. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Remember, don't fall.